40% of cancers found to be preventable with these lifestyle changes. Yes, lifestyle has a play in your development of cancer. New research underscores the significant health benefits of steering clear of smoking, excessive drinking, and obesity. These behaviors are the top preventable causes of cancer in adults. And it's funny because my 17-year-old asked me the other day, "Hey, Mom, alcohol is not that bad. Like 1 ounce has 100 calories, right? It's not that big of a deal." And I go, well, there's a lot more to it. A calorie is not just a calorie, and then there's a whole bunch of detrimental effects that come along with it. So a study by the American Cancer Society published this week reveals that 40% of new cancer cases and 44% of cancer deaths in people aged 30 and over could be avoided by eliminating high-risk behaviors like smoking and drinking. And then they talked about obesity. Now, what came first, insulin resistance or obesity? And they are tied together. And all of the metabolic diseases that we talk about a lot are tied into that insulin resistance, metabolic disease, and that symptom of obesity. And a lot of you have said, "I have unexplained weight gain." You don't know where it came from. Well, let's look at all of the different factors, but experts highlight in this study providing compelling evidence for public health leaders to promote healthier lifestyles so that it's not just all about genetics, guys, with cancer. It is about your lifestyle. The study delved into cancer cases and deaths that could have been prevented, and they looked really at the secondhand smoking, drinking alcohol, and just being overweight. They talk about eating too much red meat. Now, what is that red meat connected to? Usually McDonald's, a bun, some fries, all of that stuff. It's not necessarily the red meat. They're not looking at the wild animal protein that I talk about, but they did mention processed meat. Yes, anything processed isn't real food. It contains ingredients that the body doesn't even recognize. What does the body do with those ingredients? It says, "I got to get it out of my blood. I'm going to store it in my fat cells to get it out of the blood." What's that going to do? It's going to overstuff your fat cells with toxins and those artificial sweeteners, corn syrup, linoleic acid, all of that. And then what happens is when the glucose is trying to get into the cells and starts knocking on the door, the cell says, "Nope, I'm full. I can't take anymore." And that leads to insulin resistance, which then leads to obesity, and it drives down ATP and mitochondrial health. We'll talk about that in a second. But what they talk about is most people are not getting enough fruits and vegetables, dietary fiber, other nutrients, because when you're eating the processed foods, your body isn't absorbing the good nutrients, even from the good food you're eating, because you probably have leaky gut. The study highlights cancer risk from infections like hepatitis B, Epstein-Barr virus, HIV. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here we have to talk in code here. So the spike protein over the last 4 years has triggered a lot of diseases, a lot of viral activity away from the main one that we were talking about over the last 4 years, and a lot more hepatitis, Epstein-Barr, HIV, which has been shown to be attached to the spike protein. So why would all of these regular people walking around have HIV? So something to think about. I actually had a scan yesterday on my liver, and I showed up for some hepatitis viruses, some Epstein-Barr. It was all active. I feel great, and that's because my immune system is taking care of it. But the spike protein has triggered this proliferation of these other viral activity, and we just don't knowing where it's coming from. So you add in that spike protein, and then all of the other toxins we're being exposed to, the additional radiation, the toxins in the food, GMO, glyphosate, the estrogen dominance that most people are experiencing because of all the xenoestrogens in the environment. You add that into all of this other things like alcohol, smoking, and overeating and processed foods. Your body can't do it. Your liver can't process all of it. Your immune system lowers. What you need to remember is that cancer cells are the weak cells. They're not the strong cells. But what happens is if your immune system is lowered because of all of these other factors, including alcohol, including smoking, and including this processed foods that's causing the fat cells to get bigger and more fat cells to be produced within the body, you are going to have a lower immune system and an inability to fight those cancer cells. So it's really important to look at the factors that you are taking in. What are you consuming? What's your diet? What's your environmental exposure? And are you exercising? So in 2019, the study estimated that 40% of the nearly 1.8 million cancers in adults 30 and over were potentially modifiable risk factors, meaning you could have done something about it. Cigarette smoking was the top risk factor, accounting for 19.3% of the cases. Excess body weight, which increases the risk factor by 7.6%, and then alcohol consumption and radiation from the sun. Now, they talk about skin cancers as well. What's interesting is if you cut out the linoleic acid out of your diet, you probably aren't going to get sunburned. I live in Southern California. I lay out with no sunscreen, because a lot of the sunscreens are full of toxins, and I never get sunburned. That's because I don't put those processed foods into my body. So this is a huge thing to think about, not just about smoking and alcohol, but about all the toxins that you are consuming. That's the air we breathe, that's the water we drink, that's the food we eat. We've talked about the exponential rise in cancer among the younger population in the last couple of years. It has skyrocketed. This study is along the same lines and talks about the most obvious cases. And like I said, what causes cancer is a decline in mitochondrial health. With healthy mitochondria and ATP energy within the cells, longevity is optimized, right? Mitochondrial equals longevity. Mitochondrial failure equals death. So the longer you want to live with the highest quality of life, you want to focus on that ATP and the mitochondrial health. It's that simple. All of these things, smoking, alcohol, processed foods, environmental toxins, xenoestrogens, glyphosate, artificial sweeteners, all of those things steal ATP out of the body, steal that energy out of your cells. If you have no energy in your cells, you have no brain power. You have no ability to move, to work out, to think, to be productive, to have a healthy mindset. All of that is conditioned by your mitochondrial health, including your ability to fight cancer. Everybody has cancer cells in their body. My son had leukemia at the age of 9. Through optimizing his diet, through supplements like the accelerated silver and other things, we got rid of that within a year. And he is a healthy 21-year-old who can't stop doing things because he has so much energy in his brain and his body. So you've got to think about the goal to fighting cancer is to eliminate the obvious causes that degrade that mitochondrial health. So number one, what do? You want to focus on that protein, wild animal protein. I get into why the wild animal protein versus the chicken, conventional beef, and pork on my website and in my accelerated food guide. So check that out on the website, SaraBantaHealth.com. But protein is crucial for almost everything you do, including keeping our mitochondria in top shape. So it helps with protein synthesis, it helps with building and repairing the mitochondria, enhancing the energy production, and helping support mitochondrial biogenesis, and it helps with antioxidant defense and detoxification, improves overall cellular functioning. So next, you want to eliminate the processed foods. If it comes into a package, I don't care if it says organic or low carb or ketogenic, it's still processed foods. Get rid of those. They limit ATP production. They steal that ATP. It's going to lower your mitochondrial health. It's going to increase your risk of cancers and diseases. Eliminate the PUFAs, the polyunsaturated fats. They're everywhere. Processed foods, imitation butter, salad dressings. Unfortunately, even at those high-end restaurants that you love to go to, they cut the olive oil with canola oil. So you feel inflamed, and that is a sign that you've just eaten something that your body doesn't want. You also want to reduce the wrong estrogens. Even within my own family, we're seeing estrogen dominance because of all of the environmental toxins. You have to be more proactive to keep that hormonal balance and not let it affect your mitochondria. When your body has too much of the wrong estrogen, it creates a hormonal imbalance, impacts your cellular health, including your mitochondria. You want to get rid of the endotoxins. They're the bad toxins in your gut, and they wreak havoc on the mitochondria, and they will leak into the bloodstream, triggering inflammation throughout the body. Now, getting more specific, no one talks about this. You want to avoid the sulfur-rich foods. These are the healthy cruciferous vegetables, the onions, garlic, egg yolks. Why? Because our bodies, because of the glyphosate and the other things in our environment, have caused a disruption in our sulfur detox pathway. So we're not able to process these foods like we used to. And that might back up the liver, slow down the ATP production, slow down your metabolism. Eliminate the oxalate foods. These are spinach, almonds, berries, kale, most nuts. They can slow down your thyroid function, which is the master endocrine gland, and that will slow down your ATP production and everything else in your body. And you also want to avoid the histamine foods. We are seeing a rise in histamine reactions and histamine intolerance due to the spike protein over the last 4 years. I never had an issue with histamines. I now do because of that great gift that keeps on giving, that spike protein. So you want to be managing your histamine foods. So what else do you want to do? Exercise regularly. Avoid the toxins as much as you can. Stay hydrated, focus on that sleep, manage the stress. Stress kills, you guys. Stress kills more than anything else we've talked about. Now, what supplements can you take to optimize your ATP and your mitochondrial health? Number one, accelerating iodine. It is essential. The number one cause for mitochondrial failure is iodine deficiency. That is also causing hypothyroid issues, brain fog, depression, many other health issues. You need iodine for the cell membrane. There's an iodine value in the cell membrane. You need iodine inside the cell to increase that ATP in the mitochondria. You need iodine outside the cell to cleanse the blood, to let the liver do its job. Iodine is needed at every stage of the health system within the body, inside, on, and outside the cell membrane. It helps with detoxification. It displaces those harmful toxins like fluoride, chlorine, and bromide, and it prevents that toxic overload. It also helps mitigate the spike protein damage. So accelerating iodine is the only iodine that is in the form of I-, which means that it has 100% bioavailability into all of the cells. Most iodine supplements are attached to another molecule, so they have to be broken apart to be used, which means they only achieve about 10 to 20% absorption. Next, accelerated fast. This helps boost the metabolism, but it also increases ATP production and speeds up your metabolism, helps with weight loss, helps with that obesity issue that is a risk factor for cancer, helps with cleansing the liver on a daily basis, curbs the cravings for the bad foods that are causing a degradation of your ATP levels. It also helps optimize the thyroid hormone conversion because that happens in the liver. So that is another one. And lastly is the accelerated thyroid. Thyroid is the master endocrine gland. If the thyroid is weak and not working right, everything kind of falls apart. The wheels fall off. Accelerated thyroid is a cutting-edge natural thyroid supplement designed to comprehensively boost the thyroid function, and it helps improve the ATP, mitochondrial health, and it also helps prevent fatty liver, accelerate wound healing, strengthen your connective tissues, improve your mood, digestion, all of those things. Accelerated thyroid is enhanced with the scalar frequencies to further enhance its efficacy. You can also look to things like the Nuke No More drops to help decrease the radiation in our bodies. Radiation is known to kill cancer or to cause cancer. These phones of ours, guys, are little cancer causing devices, and we all hold them every single day. Lastly, I just want to mention the Hiwi Microgen frequency device. This has taken my health to a whole nother level. It's almost like that cheat way to get the results much faster. It's a portable device. You can wear it all day long, at night, whatever. It helps with stress reduction, pain management, detoxification, energy. You can program it for Lyme disease, for specific viral activity, for thyroid, for fat burning, for blood sugar issues, for hormonal issues, so much. And it's the most cost-effective device that I have come across. I have it on my website, SaraBantaHealth.com. You can find all of these supplements and more supporting evidence to what we're talking about today. So hopefully this helps. And thanks for joining me today. If you need my help with your health concerns, don't know where to start, feel free to reach out to me at SaraBantaHealth.com. I'm here to put together a protocol for you, and join my free group coaching on Telegram. There's no downside. I share daily tips and tools to improve your health, answer your questions. You'll be surrounded by a community of people who are on the same path, and there's more information on the website. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Accelerated Health Products. And you can catch this podcast on over 100 platforms, including Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. Just search Accelerated Health TV and Radio Show. I'm on a mission to share my healing message with everyone who's ready to listen. Help me by sharing this podcast with a few of your friends that might need my guidance. Remember, I'm live every Monday and Tuesday. I post a bonus one on Thursdays, and you can use coupon WELCOME10 to get 10% off site-wide on the supplements we've talked about. Make sure you check the accelerated food guide as well. What proteins to eat, what not, what are the sulfur vegetables, what's not, and where you can tool your diet, tool your supplements, and your lifestyle so that you can prevent chronic disease and things like they are talking about in this study. Thanks again for joining us here, and have a great week.